Prior to September 11th, most Americans had never heard about Al-Qaeda, the Taliban, or Osama bin Laden. That all changed with the War on Terror. Or did it? Stick around on this episode of Perceptions the Law as we tackle the War on Terror and Al-Qaeda.
Today we're going to talk about the issue of war, because the basic premise is critical in this area. If we're not in a state of war, then admittedly the United States has done a lot of illegal activities in the last 11 years. We've detained people without trial, we've killed people with no due process whatsoever, we've conducted military commissions against individuals. If you're not at war, you cannot do those activities because the law of war does not apply. If you are at war, however, then those activities are perfectly lawful. So the issue is there a war on terror, or is it a metaphor? We've heard the term war on terror used almost from day one, right after 9/11. Now, it's kind of a curious term because it's not descriptive. It has the war part in it, which is good because it tells the American people and the world that we're using the law of war to deal with those responsible for 9/11, Al-Qaeda, the Taliban, and associated forces. On the other hand, the word terrorism doesn't really describe the enemy that we're fighting, because terrorism is a tactic, and you can't really make war on a tactic. So the term is non-descriptive, not helpful. President Obama came up with a much better term in the wake of the attempted bombing by Abu Talib over Detroit. And he said that we are at war against Al-Qaeda. Much better term because it describes, one, that we're at war, we're using the law of war, and two, it tells you who the enemy is, Al-Qaeda. But the American people have been saddled with the term war on terror, so we'll continue to use that term. But you've got to understand that the war on terror is not a war against all terrorist groups, because there's a lot of terrorist groups in the world. It's not a war against all radical Islamic extremist terrorist groups. There's a lot of those organizations in the world. It's a war against a very narrow category of radical Islamic extremist terror groups. That would be primarily Al-Qaeda. To stay up to date on the latest news, be sure to like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter.